as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, we have to push ourselves to acknowledge the value that we bring to the spaces that we contribute to. Because at the end of the day, if you don't see the value within yourself, there's no way you can push to, offer up a proposal that fits the value that you actually have. You had to really get to know this new version of who you are. What did that look and feel like for you? Like, how did you, how do you introduce yourself to the new you?
Resources, mental health support was big on helping me identify what was the root of my imposter syndrome. Why did I feel like such a failure? Why am I?
Hello and welcome, everybody. Salutations. This is the Pancakes from Scratch podcast, where I have some powerful conversations with good people doing good things. Today is no exception to that rule. I got my friend, Dr. Kristin Morris in the building. It's wonderful to see you again.
Hey, glad to be. I am honored to be a part of Pancakes from Scratch.
Well, here, I love it. I appreciate you making time. We've got a handful of things we'll get into. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I definitely want to give us a chance to have a really good conversation. Before we dig in, I always like to start with what is giving you energy this
week? Accomplishments that I did not think that I would have. I am really, really, really proud of myself for digging deep and doing something that I did not expect myself to do, and filling out proposals that scare me, that challenge me, that push me forward, and the relief I feel, number one, that I got it done, but then also too, the fact that me, and I sometimes I say little me, but it's like, no, I am really out here working hard and being impactful, influential. And so I'm really excited, and I'm so proud of myself. And that milestone and that achievement that I just did has given me enough energy to sustain me for the rest of the week, because if nothing else happened, I am proud of myself for what I've just accomplished.
I love it, man. That's a good place to be. All right.
It is.
Listen, I heard somebody say the price went up. Okay.
It went up. Okay.
That's all good. I love it. Oh, yes. Man. Okay. When you make a move like that, right? You put the effort in to put yourself in position to really elevate. Like, that's a challenge in itself. Do you feel like there's something that you did recently or did throughout your career to prepare you for that moment?
I think that, so for a long time, I'll just say this. Once I graduated with my doctorate, I had the biggest sense of imposter syndrome in the world. And I don't know what it was. I mean, I'm still Kristin, but it was something different. And I think that when I encountered someone, I introduced myself as Dr. Kristin Morris, and they said, "Oh, are you a medical doctor?" I went, "No, I'm a doctor of education." They said, "Oh, well, almost to say, well, you're not a real doctor." I said, "Well, medical doctors give folks the gift of life. I give folks the gift of knowledge." Still rigorous training, right? And so from that moment on, I just suffered a little bit with some imposter syndrome. And I think that being able to provide affirmations and surround myself with a network of support and folks who could pour into me. But I have to believe in myself too, right? Ultimately. But being able to have a foundational support of people to talk through that type of situation with, whether it was my husband and him pouring into me and giving me affirmations, and me saying those to myself to really not only just say it, but start to believe it. I think that's what helped me through this moment, because it was a lot, right? And so the only thing that kept me going was, I can do this. I'm uniquely positioned to do it. Just keep going until you get to click send. And so I think that that continual self-talk out loud, writing it out, looking at it, whatever it is, just was instrumental to me being able to press in that moment. I'm just over the moon.
That's it. I love it, man. You we
Yes.
really um as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, we have to push ourselves to acknowledge the value that we bring to the spaces that we contribute to. Because at the end of the day, if you don't see the value within yourself, there's no way you can push to, offer up a proposal that fits the value that you actually have. You have to
Right.
be able to see it for yourself. My little sister would say, you got to see it before you can see it. That's the main thing.
Mhm.
Uh, and so, super excited for you to be in this position to have this opportunity on the way. We're going to claim that. We're
Claim
going to
it.
claim
Yes.
that.
Yes. Please do.
Real cool. Real cool. Okay. So that's good. The week is in a good place. I'm glad to hear that. Um, I'm also curious about, this is one of those challenges that you're overcoming that's like an empowering challenge, right? But we also go through things that can like beat us up in life and in career, like professionally, personally, in all these different areas. When you reflect on some of your biggest challenges, is there one that stands out as something that really helped to shape who you are or who you've become?
Yeah. So I've been trying to figure out, what would be a big challenge. And you know what? I think that when I started my business 3.5 years ago, it was a big leap for me. But how I got to the point of starting my business um, was the story in and of itself. And so I think I'm in my doctoral journey. I'm working at full time in school. I am full time working my dream organization that I thought I would retire from. I told my husband, I was like, I've been finally, I am in this organization. I am doing my best work and I am so excited. But then I had that full time doctoral work. Then we had a new baby. And
Ooh,
so then, right. And so then that was baby four.
I'm sorry, what?
And right, surprise, right? Baby four is coming and so I'm going, uh-oh. Well, I'm more than halfway at the point of finishing my doctorate. I am working my dream job. I have a brand new baby and I'm so excited. But how do I manage all of this? And
Mm,
when I tell you that my work suffered, it suffered so bad. And I was like, well, how do I keep all these balls in the air? Something was bound to fall. And I was like, I can't I can't let my doctorate degree. I didn't want to take a break because it was already hard enough. And if I took a break and then I would have had kids and just I don't know if I would have ever gotten back to it. And so I thought I need to do something. And so I remember the day it happened. I had a meeting with my manager and we parted ways and I was no longer working at my dream job.
oh,
And
heck, heck, well,
I was in the middle of my dissertation at that point.
Chris.
And I said, okay. I remember bawling my eyeballs out to my husband. I was like, well, I can't keep all the balls in the air. And I really appreciate my husband for saying, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Mm,
And I thought, "Oh, but this is the place where I thought I was going to retire from. I felt like that was my identity, and I didn't know what my identity was anymore. But I knew I had to finish my dissertation, and I had to take care of my new baby, right? And I'm still a mama of four, and everybody's they need me. And so I the the overwhelming amount of failure that I felt was just, it was overwhelming to have that heavy burden of failure. Like, I failed, I did not succeed, I did not stay where I thought I would stay. And so I thought, well, now who am I and how do I define what I do? Because you know how it is in corporate America. You are so tied to your title, you're so tied to the organization, and that gives you leverage and status. And so I didn't have leverage and status anymore. I had this student and this mom and this wife. And what do I do from there? And so being able to manage that failure that I perceived as a failure, was, it took me years to figure out. And even when I graduated with my degree, that imposter syndrome and failure, I mean, it was just so intertwined in everything that I did. I always had it in the back of my brain, like, what if I fall? And so when I started my business, my consulting business, I was going, well, who's gonna possibly hire me? I failed at my job. And how do I, colleagues that I am on, share social media platforms for, maybe they think that I failed because I'm no longer there. And, just all of that, what if and what if in a negative way, but never, well, what if everything goes the way you planned it to be?
Come on.
And
That's
so
it.
so I had to really reframe and reshape my mindset to make sure that um, that fear of failure no longer defines who I am and what I do. But I also had to get reacquainted with myself, because I had to learn a new identity as a business owner, right? Who is Kristin? Who is Genesis Consulting Services? And how do I start off the business as it being my face, but then how do I then make sure that the business continues to grow so that people see it? Yeah, they associate Dr. Kristin Morris, but also that the business stands on its own work
Yeah.
and its quality and values and principles. So that fear of failure, that moment was such a pivotal moment for me. And it really got into my head, that failure, and I didn't do a good job and worrying about what other people thought. So
Yeah.
I'm moving on.
All right. That's all right. We graduate from that. We graduate
We
from
do.
that.
We do. It's true.
Man. Yeah, but that's not an easy circumstance for anybody to uh function through.
Hmm.
So man, it's inspiring to me, and encouraging to me to know that, like, beyond a failure at that level, there's the opportunity to do some great things. And in fact, it's that failure that helps to inform who you become so that those
Yes.
great things can happen. That is how, but
Yep.
4 babies and starting the
We're,
doctorate and
we're
oh,
babies now from 21 to 5, or I should say 5 to 21.
your oldest is not 21 years old.
Yes, he is. 21, 17, 11, and 5. He actually himself, he's graduating college. So we are
What?
proud. Yes, yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm
Congratulations.
excited.
Clearly, it's been too long since we last spoke. My Lord.
Way too
Okay.
long.
All right. Man, okay, now I'm bugging. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me come back.
Come on
Um,
back.
you said something super powerful about getting reacquainted with yourself, right? So I don't want folks to miss that. Like, you had to really get to know this new version of who you are. What did that look and feel like for you? Like, how did you like how do you introduce yourself to the new you?
It was a lot of reflection, but I would say I am grateful for the resources that I have to help me. And so that meant my sister friends who as I was going through that experience, would have prayer calls, like just
Yeah.
being a part of, and I get chill bumps because they were just so supportive. Therapy, it was professional networks of Black women entrepreneurs who were also, um, these entrepreneurs, they're trying to make it too. And so we have like stories. We share a shared experience moving from corporate to this world of self sustainability and helping navigate that new normal and the challenges. And so I think between my sister friends and my sisters and my friends and the network and resources, mental health support was big on helping me identify what was the root of my imposter syndrome. Why did I feel like such a failure? Why am I letting failure define who I am when I know that not to be true? And so I think all of those for me at varying points across the years have been instrumental in helping dig me out of a place that now I can see, the light essentially. Fear doesn't define me. I'm not worrying about what happens or what if, right? And so I think those support systems and resources are just were so instrumental to me and still are.
That's that. I love it. I love it. And so what's interesting is how we can have access to those things and fail to see the value in them, especially, you know, when you get into when you achieve some level of success, especially on that corporate side, they like to set you up with that little corner office, get you them big
Mhm.
windows, make you feel all, yeah, you be feeling yourself. It's all right though. Uh,
Mhm.
but then uh, when you separate from that type of space, you start to recognize the value that the people that you share community with are, and
Yeah.
how people can pour into your life and really have an impact on not just what you achieve, but how you feel about where you are, how you move things forward.
Right.
That's major. Okay. And so now, like I said, we graduated from that.
We graduated.
Got big things on the way. I want to know a little bit more about what you're doing now and really like what does it mean to be doing what you do? How did life prepare you for it?
Mm. How did life prepare me for what I'm doing now? I would say that life prepared me um, gave me tenacity and gave me drive and gave me the the ability to dig in my heels from having our oldest at 19 and learning lessons about that and being an undergrad, right? There's certain skills that you have to learn to be able to survive and thrive even in an environment like that. We weren't working and we weren't, you know what I mean? And so life has provided me with that, the opportunity um, to be encouraged. And the people that I've surrounded myself with, that we've surrounded ourselves with, only wanted us to do well. And that goes to the foundation of everything that I do is I want people to do well, right? I want to focus on people. I want to focus on performance is because the people are the driver behind the performance. I want to focus on when people do well, the performance is enhanced, the performance is on point, you're meeting your goals, it contributes to better organizational culture, right? And so people, performance, and culture, that is the goal of everything that I do. And so when I think about Genesis Consulting Services and think about what Genesis is, the first, for me, it's a rebirth.
Mm.
And I wanted to make sure that the business that I created is something that is influential, it is impactful for people, it is impactful for organizations. You think about now everybody's talking about DEI, but what does that really mean? It's your people who are driving everything that you do. And if you don't take care of your people, then everything else will fall.
Mm.
And so as I think about how we come into organizations and help through needs assessments and how we influence strategies. And it could be anything from putting together a facilitated workshop that I sometimes will do, or curriculum. How do we ensure that the people feel supported to perform optimally, that they can do their best work, right? It is how do we, for organizations, help with DEI strategy? What does that look like? And so really being able to be choosy about what I do, and making sure that the organizations who want me as part of their initiative and hire me as a consultant really know what they're getting for it, because I don't sugarcoat anything. But I really want, I want folks to know that. And I tell them, I want to make sure that Genesis Consulting Services leaves the organization better off than when I first got there, or when we first got there. And so, I think that life lessons have taught me that if at first you don't succeed, you try again. If you get knocked down, it's okay to feel some type of way, right? But you got to stand up and you got to keep moving. And so, with every experience that I've had, it has for sure. I think tenacity is the number one word that I continue to utilize and leverage, and I don't subscribe to that grind culture because it's not sustainable. But I do think that tenacity and the ability to just keep digging your heels in it and moving forward and say, that's okay. I know what my mission and my vision is. I know what I want to do. That has helped me get to a place where I am now, with personally and then professionally with our consulting firm.
I love it. I love it, man. That's awesome. I know that, on this journey of, providing services, especially when you get into this business to business world, and you're making an effort to have an impact on the culture of a space, have an impact on the experience of the people in that space, you got to run into some tough conversation, right? How do you manage what that looks like when, somebody hires your team, you come in there and you see like, oh, you know what? This ain't it.
Right.
How do you even do that?
I think so often when organizations will hire our consulting firm for work, they think they know the answer. And I mean, we're all on a journey of learning and discovery together. But when I come in, I tell them, okay, I hear what you're saying about DEI. There's a couple of things I want you to know. Number one is it's not going to be an overnight fix. Number two, about 20% or so, there's a decent percentage of folks, small, who may not want this to happen. And there's nothing that we can do to change their minds, and you have to be okay with that. Because you have your goals, and I and our consulting firm were hired to help you carry out those goals, and help you find a plan to implement those goals. And so while we want to make sure that we are cognizant and bringing everyone along for the journey, not everyone wants to get on that bus, and that's going to be okay. And so, it's with that information, do you still want to proceed? Yes. Okay, well, let's do it. And being upfront with having the leaders be open and transparent enough to understand that, because sometimes we know the squeaky wheel gets all the attention, right? But we have to make sure that we can turn that off, because what we're going to do is focus on what's at hand, the task at hand, and why we are here, our why, and how we're going to do it in the organization. So I think that's the biggest piece is getting comfortable with them knowing and understanding that not everybody's going to be on the journey. We're different. We have lived experiences, whatever those may be. And it's okay. If they don't want to get on the bus, then sit on the sideline. But don't stop me from doing what I need to do. Don't stop us from doing what we need to do to be successful.
Listen, listen, and don't listen. I hear it in your voice. Don't think I'm playing.
Listen, I had to change it up for a second, right? Like, not here. But
every once in a while, got to choose violence every once in a while.
Once in a while, but it's the truth. There are some entities and people that just are like, I don't understand it. I think we're putting too much emphasis on it. But if they, there's and whether I build a business case or not, they feel the way they feel, and hey, we still have to keep moving.
Man, that takes but then again, that calls back to that point around knowing the value and feeling secure in what it is that you bring to the market, because that's an experience that could easily trigger that feeling of imposter syndrome, right? When you get those kind of responses, or folks are rejecting the idea that's at the foundation of what you do. It's no, I don't think there's any value in this type of thing. And it's easy to internalize that type of stuff.
Oh, it's so easy because you think about your baby. You don't want anybody telling you anything bad about your children, right? Or your pet or whatever it might be, right? And so I think for me, early on, it took me having a support system. So a community of DEI folks, so we can talk that out and go, oh, you're experiencing that too. Okay, so let's all brainstorm together some strategies on how to overcome that. And that team of support, because DEI work is a lot. And I still have my therapist that helps me unpack how I feel so that I don't internalize, the naysayers or the negative things that may come out of the good work that we are doing in organizations. And so I think continuing to have a support and find your people is critical to whatever the task or field you may be in. But for me, I found that having this, it's called a DEI think tank, having that around and being able to talk about critical issues and just go, what are the problems at hand? How can we help resolve those? Let's think through and ideate together. It's just been really instrumental in my growth, but then also in helping me keep a level head as I'm working with organizations.
Okay, I love it. Now,
And
I don't want to gloss over the fact that what you're talking about is building this coalition or this group of folks that you can lean into. There has to be some intentionality in that, right? Where did that come from?
yeah, no. So it's a group that I joined, and I am so grateful that they opened the door for me, because it was almost like, if you're thinking about crawling out in the desert needing a drink of water, it felt like that, right? And so somebody holding their hand out and picking you up and bringing you in a cool room and give you that nice ice cold drink of water. That's what I feel like. And so to be in that space that they've created and invited me in so openly, I think has been valuable in my growth as a DEI practitioner, among many other things. But it has allowed me to go, I'm so glad I'm not alone, because sometimes, we talk about all the work that DEI practitioners and VPs of culture, we talk about all the work that we're doing, but it can sometimes feel really lonely. And at least for me, and so to have folks that I can lean on and have conversations with, I think is really instrumental and helpful.
Yeah. There's so many people who are, especially in the Black community, so many people who are out here in this world of professionalism and find themselves like on an island and trying to figure out how to get things done, I can't even count how many people have told me like, oh, I don't have any mentors, or I don't have a network, right?
Mhm.
But like it's so much easier when you can connect with people and lean into the support that you get from a group of folks who are having similar experiences. But
Yeah.
where do you find them? Like, how did you find the group that you were able to plug into?
I actually found them. I facilitated a session for the St. Paul Area Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah,
and they had their DEI Equity Summit. Actually, is what it's called. And I went to that, and someone said, I really enjoyed your session. I want to invite you to this think tank. And I had never heard of it before. And I said, huh. I said, well, thank you. But the reason I got an opportunity to do this was because a colleague and I worked with a client who said, I think I know who would be a good facilitator for this content.
come on.
And so you think about connection and building that. Oh my gosh, I was like, this is amazing. And so to continue to work backwards on how I even got right there, it was the connections that I built and I maintained and sustained that got me to that place of being able to be a part of this DEI think tank. And
Yeah.
so, for me, if this thing doesn't stay on my head, but for me, it's how do you build a network? I think it was, leverage organizational ERGs. I didn't have that because I'm an entrepreneur. And
Mhm.
so it was for me, well, where's my ERG? Where's my resource group?
That's it.
Where am I going to find Black women who are also branching out on their own and leaving corporate behind and starting their own businesses? And so for me, it was finding Activate Network,
Mm.
who helped pull me along the way. And I went, oh my gosh, everybody else is, we're all on this struggle bus and trying to get it together.
Yeah.
And looking at these people shine has been amazing. And not only that, I've built relationships with those people. And so, just leveraging those internal resources. And I know for Black women, it is lonely, but what resources in the organization can help you lead to something else that leads to something else. I think for me, that's the way it's been. It's me finding a resource that's led to this and that and that. So everything has built upon itself.
That's it.
Um, yeah, with Activate Network being that foundation. And then my colleagues, I mean, the work that they said, hey, I know you're new. You want to get started on this project with me? And then those clients enjoying what we do. And then they invite me back and back and back,
Yeah.
and so it's been like that. It's been a web of visibility in that way too.
I love it. I love it.
I love it.
I just put something on social media. I said if it's worth doing once, it's worth doing twice. So
Listen,
you came in and did the thing. They said, "Oh, we got to call her back."
yes, yes, I love it. Love it.
That's it, man. Good stuff. Good
It
stuff.
is.
I'm super curious about some of the things that you've been able to experience professionally. Is there one thing that stands out to you? Whether it was as an entrepreneur or as an employee, something that you're just extremely grateful for that stands out as like just a key moment in your professional life.
Hmm. One thing I would say that for sure it would be connecting with the Activate Network And so follow me here.
Yeah.
Connecting with the Activate Network, who this quiet girl from the South Side who identifies as an introvert gained her certifications, her Women Business Enterprise, her DBE, Diverse Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, who gained all these certifications, who then found themselves in November of 2022 pitching their business to BP Corporation and Walgreens Corporation.
Come on.
And so it wasn't even a client work. It was the internal work that I had to do to build this confidence in myself and my business, that as I talked to one of the co-founders of Activate Network, she was, we were introducing ourselves, and so I went and introduced myself. She said, "Wow, I see so much growth."
Yeah.
And so the growth that I have had from the resources that allowed me to start from in the basement, not even ground level, from in the basement, at least to the second floor, I think, there's still a whole bunch of floors to get to.
Yeah.
Just, but the fact that I have gotten this far, where you could not have told me 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago, that I would be able to do these things and be so confident about. And so it's sure, I am sure that I am uniquely positioned, as my friend Color Millie says, you are uniquely positioned to do the things that you are supposed to be doing right now. And I remember that every single day of my life and everything that I'm doing. And so to be in that moment of pitching my business to these executives for the services that Genesis Consulting Services has to offer was an out-of-body experience. And it just awoken this excitement about what I can do, the endless possibilities of me and the endless possibilities of the consulting firm. I think it was a turning point for me. And I'm just so sure that I'm supposed to be here in this space doing this work.
That confirmation, it hits different.
Confirmation, it hits different. When you're ready to receive it, right? Yeah. You got to be open to receiving it. And in this moment, I am open. And because I've been so open, I felt like everything has started to just flow in to me, flow into the consulting firm. And I can feel it. I can see it. I can feel it shifting. I can feel the growth. And I am sure that I'm supposed to be here right now doing exactly what I'm doing.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it, man. That's so, I gotta say, I have these moments, right? Like in my own entrepreneurial journey, I definitely have some moments of confirmation that feel just tremendous, right? And super powerful. And then there's like the flip side of the rejection. And that's like, yes. Oh my Lord, am I really doing this? What is happening right now? And I think I just have a newfound appreciation for what it looks like to build and create something, right? And just take an idea and bring it to life. And that's super, super powerful to me. And, to the point where it's the work that I'm invested in supporting folks with. So, when you have an idea, let's figure out what it takes to bring that idea from your mind into the market. And, it's part of the reason I started this whole Pancakes from Scratch thing is around this idea of like, we go through the challenges that we face and it creates this person that we become so that we can bring the thing to the market, to the community, that we're the only ones who could possibly do it, right? Like it's only Kristin that could have established Genesis Consulting, right? There's not another person who has what you have, who has the experience matched with the background, matched with the wisdom, matched with everything else that you bring to the space that you sort of operate in. It was only you that could have done that. And for me, like, I'm like navigating that experience through building this whole podcast thing, right? And doing my whole entrepreneurial journey. And I'm just realizing the appreciation that I have for the moments that create the people that we are.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's those moments that I cling to when I get rejection after rejection from proposals, because that doesn't mean every proposal isn't a yes, but it's the moments of I know that I can do it and I know what it feels like, and I just keep going. I think without those moments to sustain you, then it begins to weigh on you a little bit more. At least for me, it weighs on me a little bit more. But if I can always remember what it feels like to have these moments of success, it helps continue to give me the fuel to keep moving forward. I know it's just what is meant for me will be for me. And so this wasn't it. So let me do the next one, right? But then I can also choose, because now I know myself. Now I'm familiar with myself, and now I don't have to be at a place where I have to jump and say yes to everything, because I'm doing the work to know who I am, what I value most, and what I don't. And if that project or proposal, no matter what folks say, if it doesn't speak to me and speak to the mission and vision of what the consulting firm is, then the answer is no.
Come on. That's the power of
Come
no.
on now.
Stop it.
Yes. Come on now. I'm the boundaries, and just I've learned so much from so many people, and I'm just so grateful. The if I started saying names, I would miss some folks, but there's just so many folks who have come into my life who have been instrumental, and my sisters too. I mean, they just everyone, and it wasn't the yes people. They challenged me to think broader, right? They challenged me to want more and to do more and to not settle. So it has been such a valuable learning lesson that I will be on forever, because I have not arrived to anything, right? I am growing, but I haven't arrived.
Come on, it's a constant journey. That journey of elevation, that journey of growth, continuous learning. Like it just continues. It goes on and on. So that's powerful. We gotta continue to acknowledge and realize and appreciate that. That's a big thing.
It is. Absolutely.
Too cool, man. Well, listen, one of the things I like to dive into, sort of as we wrap up the conversation, is this idea of food. Right. At some point, it had to come back to it, right? Because pancakes.
Yeah, pancakes.
Naturally.
That's right.
And like the reason I gave it that name was just because of the appreciation that I have of moments, right? Because pancakes from scratch isn't necessarily about what the food tastes like. It's about like the experience of cooking, preparing, and being with whoever is putting the meals together, and all that. Like all those pieces come together to create an experience, a feeling. And so, like for me, my favorite food as a kid was French toast. I used to love me some French toast, and every day I was, Mom, can we get some? Can we do the French toast? And Mom would be like, oh, no, we don't really have all the ingredients. I don't have a lot of time. I grew up and found out French toast was bread and eggs. I was hot. I was pretty upset with my mom about that. But now all of a sudden she got all the time in the world to make pancakes from scratch with her grandkids.
Of course.
That's all right. It's all right.
That's the way it goes.
I guess. But for you, I'm curious, did you have a favorite food growing up?
Oh man, my mom made everything. I don't know if there's one thing that I can pinpoint that I really liked because I didn't like tuna casserole. That's what I didn't like. But but everything else, I mean, if there was a favorite food,
Yeah.
I loved her lasagna
Mm,
from scratch, the meat sauce, the just everything about it. It just felt like it was made with love and it was warm and it was comforting and it was heavy.
mm,
Um, and I absolutely enjoyed eating it. And so much so that I now make that for my children the way that she made it for hers and
legacy.
legacy. And so the boys are saying, "Mom, can you write down the recipe?" And like, yeah, there's no recipe, but you can be in the kitchen writing stuff down, and that's
Oh,
the
you
way we're
better
gonna
pay. You
pass it
better
out.
keep up.
You better keep up. They said, "How much stuff to put in?" I said, "Well, sprinkle until your ancestors say it's enough. That's what you're gonna do until you can smell the aromatics." But
That's it. If you ain't sneezing, it ain't season. What we talking about?
listen, right? That is it. I need to put that on the shirt. You need to sell that for
I heard
sure.
somebody say
I love it. I love it, but I would say it would be her lasagna. It just everything about it brings me back to a celebration of family time. We make it around Easter, especially, and so it's something we can always look forward to, and it just brings so much back. I think I have some pictures of our girls helping make it too.
Oh
It's
man.
just if this one word I can um, think of when I think of lasagna is love. It's just
Mm,
the love that was poured into it that I hope to continue to pour into my babies.
that's it. That's beautiful, man. I
Yeah.
listen, there's something at that intersection.
Hmm.
I talk about it on every episode, but there's something at that intersection of food and culture, um, and ambition and creativity that there's a connection there. I haven't figured it out yet. Let me get a few more episodes in. I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is good stuff. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks for asking because I would have never have thought about it. I think people have asked me what my favorite food was. I was like, I like everything, but I think when I started to think a little deeper and think about the food and the connection and the memories and all of that, it for sure is something I go, well, this is what I like and why.
I love it. I love it. Well, good stuff, man. Chris, this has been awesome spending some time with you. I appreciate you making the time to be here. Before we go, any last words, final ideas, advice you want to share with the people?
Ideas or advice, I would say find your people.
Mm,
Um, it's important to have good people around you. And I'm so grateful that I have found my people that I can build with, learn and grow with. And this idea of if it's still valid, no new friends is not it. Uh, because there's so much learning and growth and enjoyment in discovery of new people and how that unlocks new adventures and discoveries about yourself. And so I will part with that. I think that would be a bit of advice if I had any to give.
I love it. I love it. That's the mini pancake for the day.
Yeah,
That's
that's right. I just
it.
opened up a whole new idea, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good stuff, Chris. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. Keep doing big things. And I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. All right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me in this space. I enjoyed it a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You take care. We'll talk soon.
Okay, talk soon.